Utopia, the unrealized, imaginative world where everything is just peachy keen and fine and everybody just gets along. Yeah. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day one of the Torah portion Shoftim. We are in Deuteronomy chapter 16. And we began with the first verse in this section, in verse 18, that says, appoint judges, Shoftim, and officers, Shotrim, within all your gates, which Yahweh your Elohim has given you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous right ruling. Do not distort right ruling. Do not show partiality, nor take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. We are encouraged in the next verse to follow righteousness righteously. 1971, a long time ago, I remember the year, John Lennon released the song Imagine. And the lyrics went something like, imagine that there is no heaven, it's easy if you try, no hell below us, above us, only sky. Imagine all the people just living for today. The chorus says, you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will be as one. Utopia, the imaginative world that we've never quite gotten to. The problem with utopia, it is a perversion of the kingdom of heaven coming to the earth. Because if we leave the effect of our environment, our world, just putting it totally in the hands of well-intentioning, well-meaning people, still the flawed characters of people will show up. I'm sorry, we're not perfect. And we're going to get on each other's nerves a bit. Just ask anybody who's done a Sukkot or two in a camping-style environment. We relocate, we show up at wherever the camping grounds are, we pitch our tents, park our RVs, secure our rooms, whatever the case may be, and we set in then to communal living for only a week. Normally the first few nights are pretty good. People are happy around campfires and we're sharing food and we're all excited to see each other again. Somewhere in the middle of it, though, somebody's going to have an attitude and somebody's going to make a remark and someone's going to bring up a teaching that squirrels everything into a mayhem. Well, maybe not mayhem, but disorder and a little dysfunction. And I imagine that when Moshe was in the wilderness with this massive group of people, that they had more than a few occasions to have issues. After all, they lined up and stood in line all day long for him originally to judge between one party and the other. Why is that? Well, they had issues. As well-intentioned as we are, and as desirous as we are to have perfect relationships, too often we're going to yield to a more base level motive of minds and flesh. And we're going to see scorn or isolation or retribution or revenge or any number of negative things. After all, prisons are full of people who would say, I didn't mean to. I wasn't going to. Or maybe they would say, I normally don't act like that, but something snapped. Or it's always somebody else's fault. It's never the perpetrator's fault. It's always someone else to blame. And here's the reality. If we do not set a significant and consistent guard over ourselves, over our thinking, over our motivations, over our emotions and our attitudes, the ponderances in our heart. If we do not have routines that speak of discipline, we're going to find ourselves in need of a Shoftim, or maybe even worse, a Shotrim. The difference is the Shoftim, the judge sits and determines whether you acted appropriately or inappropriately according to the Torah. And they're not going to recognize your face, and they're not going to remember that you're friends or that you had dinner together last week or any of those things. They have to judge righteously. The Shotrim is kind of like a Torah sheriff, the officer of the Shoftim's court. And they keep an open eye. They're the police force of such. Now, no one wants Torah sheriffs running around with badge and whistles and making arrests according to the Torah. We don't want that. So we kind of mind ourselves and we keep ourselves in check. What does that mean? Well, we don't say everything that comes to our mind. That's not wise. We don't act out every emotion because, again, that's not wise. Do we just stuff it down? No, we learn to control ourselves. I remember as a young child, my dad looked at me and said, "Son, I'd love to have you own a BB gun or a pocket knife or a hatchet of some sort." There I was, about 11, 12 years old, and he said, "Son, I can't trust you with any of that because your temper." Now, it may be hard to imagine that this wonderful, cuddly teddy bear of a person ever had a temper. It's in there. I just learned to control it. And as soon as I say that, something may rise up to try to tempt that thing to come forward. Yah, spare me the temptation. Deliver us not unto temptation. Oh, Yah, deliver us from evil. I don't like the anger, and I don't like how it plays out, and I don't like the energy that it saps, and I don't like having to dig myself out of holes and repent for things I shouldn't have said or done. You would think after these decades that somebody ought to learn to control that thing. And it's sad, but there are folks well-aged enough to know better who still are motivated by anger or jealousy or spite or a lot of negative things. What have we done? What have we done? Yah has given us the Torah. He has given us the model of Torah living in Yeshua. So let me encourage you to perhaps take on a few disciplines. Read something out of the Torah portion every day. Come to 10-minute Torah and get a little snippet, and maybe that will germinate an idea for you to focus on and meditate on and pray over for the rest of the day. Read something from the Psalms. Read a proverb. Read something of the teachings of Yeshua. Listen to something that is uplifting and encouraging. If we're only about the political things going on right now, you're going to get mad because somebody's not going to make you happy. It's not saying that elections are not important, but they're not so important that you wreck yourself. So in our present day society, we need to be self-disciplined, putting into practice the things that we know bring about righteous and positive results. Certainly spending time with the Master in prayer and just meditation. It's not all that you've got to say everything to fill up half hour, whatever time you allot. Meditate on Him. Think about Him. And then make yourself accountable to someone. Just find somebody. Hey, can I call you up if I'm having a problem? Will you help me to talk it out? We need each other, especially those that are immature in Messiah and still growing, especially those that should be mature in Messiah and are not. Let's all grow up today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.